So what happens when a virtual world has a real, actual economy? A place where players can earn and lose real money. Well, for the people playing Entropia Universe, it's way more than just a game. It's a serious investment of their time and, yeah, their cash. And after a pretty raw town hall meeting with the players, it's become crystal clear that they feel like their world is crumbling. And the stakes? They could not be higher.
I mean, this quote here from a player named Bonnie, wow. It just gets right to the heart of the whole situation. This is a story about a really deep, kind of complicated love for a game. For a lot of these players, it's become a huge part of their lives. And the frustration they feel, it's what happens when that love feels totally one-sided. Like the creators just don't love it back.
Okay, so you might be wondering, why are these players so incredibly invested? I mean, so fiercely protective of this game? To really get it, you have to understand the one thing that makes Entropia Universe totally different from pretty much any other game out there. Its direct line to your real-life bank account.
Yeah, this game launched way back in 2003. So this is not your typical MMO. It's this huge sci-fi universe, and it's built on a unique economic model that's been chugging along for more than 20 years now. And the core promise, the big hook, it's that what you earn inside the game can have real, tangible value out here in the real world. So here's the nuts and bolts of how it works. The in-game money is called PED, or Project Entropia Dollar, and it has a fixed exchange rate. 10 PED equals exactly $1. That means that super rare piece of armor you just found, or those resources you spent hours mining, you can sell them and literally withdraw that money as cash. Think about that. In this universe, every single click can have a real financial outcome. All right, so what brings someone into a high-stakes world like this in the first place? I mean, with real money on the line, the reasons people jump in are just as varied as the players themselves. For a lot of folks, it's the headlines you see every now and then. News about a virtual space station or a piece of digital property selling for hundreds of thousands of real dollars. That's a pretty powerful hook, right? For others, it's that play-to-earn dream, or diving into a super complex trading economy. Or maybe it's just the thrill you get when your in-game choices actually matter in the real world. And, this kind of publicity really works. A longtime player, Nana Shana, said exactly that in the town hall. The sheer allure of these huge, high-profile sales is what pulled him in more than 15 years ago. And that's a story you hear over and over from the veteran players who saw the incredible potential in this economy. But listen, it's not always about spending big to make it big. Take this story from a player named SmileUp. He managed to survive and even thrive, not by pouring in money, but by using his social skills, his wits, to trade and build his in-game wallet up from nothing. It's just a perfect example of how there are so many different ways to play this kind of economy. Okay, so getting players in the door is one thing, but what makes somebody stay in a world this demanding for 10 or even 20 years? Well, this is where Entropia stops being just a game and turns into something else entirely.
That same player, Bonnie, she put it perfectly. She said, Entropia becomes a lifestyle. It's not just something you do. It's a daily login, it's a community that you're a part of, it's a place where you've invested, gosh, not just money, but thousands of hours of your actual life building friendships and chasing your own personal goals. But this lifestyle, it's got two very different sides to it. On the one hand, players build these incredibly deep friendships and this powerful sense of community. But on the other hand, they're dealing with things like addiction and that classic sunk cost fallacy. That feeling that you can't possibly leave because you've already put so much into it. It really is like a true Stockholm syndrome. You're in love with this world that also causes you so much frustration. And that really brings us to why this town hall even happened. This was not just some friendly chat. No, this was a plea. A plea from a community that has hit its breaking point. A place where years and years of loyalty have basically soured into this massive, widespread frustration with the developer, a company called Mindark. Hallie, who's been playing for 20 years, just nailed a core issue. He said, look, the players have grown up with this game. They have jobs now, they have families, and the fact that the developer can't even provide basic info, like a simple calendar of events, it just shows this huge disconnect from the reality of their players' lives. It's like they're not seen as real people with schedules. And it's not just that one thing, either. The players laid out this really clear pattern of what feels like neglect. We're talking a total lack of transparency, feedback that's been ignored for years, broken game systems, terrible customer support, and an experience for new players that's so bad, so hostile, that the game's entire future is genuinely at risk. But here's the thing. This meeting wasn't just about listing problems. Oh no, the players came prepared.
They showed up with their own really clear, constructive plan to save the virtual world that they love so much. Their blueprint has 4 main points. First, fix the economy. That means overhauling the super clunky auction house. Second, rework the whole reward system. Move away from just mindless grinding and toward things that are actually meaningful, like player-driven crafting and missions. Third, and this is a big one, communicate. Act like you respect your players' time and investment. And fourth, you have to urgently fix the new player journey. Because without it, the community can't grow. It's that simple. And this is why it all matters so much. Another 20-year vet, Photonic Edge, he just laid it all out there. The game is getting old. The veteran players, they're ready to sell their gear, to pass the torch. But, as he puts it, the next generation isn't there. Without new blood, without new players coming in, the whole ecosystem is basically teetering on the verge of collapse. Which, leaves us with this one last, really critical question. When players invest decades of their lives and huge amounts of real money into building a digital world, when they are the ones shaping its culture and its economy, where does the developer's ownership end and the inhabitants' ownership begin? That's a question that games like Entropia Universe are forcing all of us to think about.